Sonic.exe Shadow Generations releases in less than a week for those who pre-ordered the deluxe version, and in exactly a week for the standard version. And in this video, I'll guide you through everything you need to know before the game drops. We'll be going over the changes to base generations, the new levels and bosses in the Shadow Generations portion of the game, and so much more. So get ready to speed through everything I noticed and what you should know about Sonic.exe Shadow Generations. But before we do, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because you already know when the game releases I'll be making videos on it, potentially doing the base generations as regular videos, then streaming my reactions to Shadow Generations on the release date for everyone, so stay tuned. Alright, let's dive in proper. The first thing to go over is the changes to the original Sonic Generations, and what makes it different from the... Wait, when did this game release again? Let's see. 2011? Over 13 years ago? Wow, wow, I need a minute to think about this. Alright. The first of the changes is having the game run at 60 frames per second and at 4K resolution for modern hardware. Before, the game only supported 30 FPS with a 1080p resolution on consoles at the time, while on PC, the game could get up to the higher numbers with the help of mods, so having that from the get-go is a great feature to have. The next big change has to do with both classic and modern Sonic's moveset, which is the addition of the drop dash. For those who don't know, the drop dash is a feature introduced in Sonic Mania, which has become a mainstay of Sonic's moveset in both 2D and 3D games. Since its introduction, it's been in every Sonic game since then, including Sonic Forces, Sonic Frontiers, Sonic Superstars, and they even added the move into the re-releases of all the classic games in Sonic Origins. Personally, I'm happy they added this move since it's just a good move to have for Sonic in general, but I only see it really working for classic Sonic. Because modern Sonic has the boost, the addition of the drop dash seems a little superfluous in my opinion. A welcome addition for those who like the move for sure, but not exactly the most optimal move to use for speed. While on the topic of moveset changes, they remapped modern Sonic's controller inputs to match Sonic Frontiers, with the X button on Xbox controllers being used for the homing attack, right trigger for boosting, and so on and so forth. While this is a good change since the control scheme is used for the Shadow Generation section as well, it'll definitely mess with my muscle memory for the game since I've become so accustomed to the older control scheme. Luckily, you can change it to Legacy mode in the settings. Another change that has been a staple of these re-releases and remasters is the removal of the live system, which honestly, I'm alright with. Lives weren't too hard to get in the base game since you could get a lot of rings while playing normally, as well as trade in skill points to get them. Supposedly, you can toggle them on and off, but don't quote me on that one. Now, one of the biggest changes to the base game is the addition of the hidden Chow in each stage along with the red star rings, which now also shows you which ones you've collected in the HUD. With the addition of the Chow, they've also been added to the opening cutscene of the game, which could imply fully re-rendered cutscenes will be in the game. None of that AI upscale bullcrap that was in Sonic Colors Ultimate. Some people have also speculated that Ian Flynn, the current writer for Shadow's story in the game, may be rewriting the story of base gens for the new cutscenes, but again, it's just a rumor, so don't go in expecting that. And for the final major change to the original game, they'll be adding in the Casino Night Zone DLC from the pre-order bonus of the console versions and DLC from the PC release into the base game with no extra fee. While it is just a pinball simulator, it's still a nice addition to have regardless. With all the base generations changes out of the way, let's get into the real meat and potatoes of this remaster, Shadow Generations. Shadow Generations takes place during the events of the original Generation story, with Shadow being sent to the White World by something we don't know yet, but we can assume it has something to do with the Time Eater, like in Sonic's story. There, we find that Black Doom from Shadow 05 had survived his supposed demise and is back to give Shadow a hard look into his past and take over the world. It's up to Shadow to defeat anything that comes his way and save the world, and even save time and space itself. His gameplay is largely the same as Sonic's, but with a few twists. Shadow can use Chaos Control to stop time for about 5 seconds, leading to unique ways to platform in the levels as well as get your bearings and find weak spots during boss battles. In conjunction with his Chaos Control, he can also use Chaos Spears to stun his enemies and hit them from large distances. New to this game, Shadow can obtain different Doom powers to add to his moveset. He can unlock the following: Doom Spears, allowing him to stun and attack 5 enemies at once; Doom Blast, allowing him to launch enemies into the sky and follow their trail for shortcuts and alternative routes; Doom Morph, allowing him to take on a squid-like form to go across all kinds of terrain he couldn't normally access before; Doom Wing, allowing him to grow wings and fly high in the sky to access exclusive routes and more; and Doom Surf, allowing him to surf and spin across water. Another difference between the two versions of Generations is that Shadow's White World will be fully 3D and play similarly to the open zone gameplay style present in Sonic Frontiers. There, you'll be able to platform across different grind rails and dash rings, interact with characters like Team Dark, and potentially even Maria and Gerald Robotnik, and fight enemies to discover new paths and challenges. Similar to Sonic's Red Star Rings, Shadow's gameplay will also have 3 new collectibles called Collection Keys hidden in the levels and even in the hub world, consisting of a music note, a paintbrush, and a notebook page. While the purpose of these collectibles is ambiguous so far, my theory is that the music note will unlock the music present in the level for the game's jukebox that's already in base Generations. Paintbrush can offer concept art from Shadow's history, and concepts of his older design, concepts from Sonic 06 and Shadow 05, and the notebook pages have to somehow be connected to Gerald Robotnik's journal. There are also Doom Gears to collect in the hub world, which can be seen in the Doom Powers trailer for the game. Again, the use of it is unknown, but I can guess it may either have to do with unlocking challenge stages, Doom powers, the boss battles, or even just the regular stages themselves. These gears may be separate from the little Shadow the Hedgehog logo thingies that you collect at the end of the Space Colony Arc stage. The levels featured in the game are as follows. The order is not final, by the way. Space Colony Arc / Final Rush from Sonic Adventure 2, Radical Highway from Sonic Adventure 2 as a part of Space Colony Arc, Rail Canyon / Bullet Station from Sonic Heroes, Kingdom Valley from Sonic 06, Sunset Heights from Sonic Forces, and Chaos Island from Sonic Frontiers. There's also one more level that's included as DLC in the deluxe version of the game, but we'll talk about that later. Inside the levels, there are segments of cinematic QuickTime events as well as transitions from cutscene to gameplay, making the game feel more cinematic and flashy. Like in base Generations, Shadow will also have boss battles where he fights his rivals, as well as major bosses he's defeated in the past. They are as follows. Again, the order is always subject to change. The Bio Lizard from Sonic Adventure 2, Metal Overlord from Sonic Heroes, Mephiles the Dark from Sonic 06, Sonic himself from the rival fight in Generations and Sonic Adventure 2, and it can be inferred that Black Doom will have a boss fight in the game, potentially being the final boss, but again, we'll have to see. There are rumors of there being equivalents to Sonic's rival fights with Shadow, having the rivals be Sonic, Mephiles, and Infinite, since they can pull from future games, and they could also have someone like the Night Titan from Sonic Frontiers. But again, take that with a grain of salt since neither of those two characters have been confirmed for the game. Along with the game's release, Sega dropped Dark Beginnings, a 3-episode prologue to the events of the game that gives a brief look into Shadow's past, verifying past elements that were ambiguous before, and showing how Shadow's story in the game kicks off. I don't want to give away too much about this since you can just watch it for yourself on YouTube. It looks awesome and has some good character moments and fights. And honestly, I just recommend watching that because, man, is it good. Now for the difference between the versions of the game and extra DLC. The base version of the game is $50 and will get you everything present in the game, as well as a Sonic Adventure 1 Modern Sonic skin and Gerald Robotnik's journal as a physical release exclusive when you pre-order. With the deluxe version, you get the base game, Adventure skin for Sonic, a Terios / Beta Shadow skin, the journal if you're pre-ordering physically, extra skill points, extra background music, a digital art book for the game, and a Sonic movie Shadow skin, along with a Tokyo level based on where the movie takes place, for $70. Oh yeah, by the way, the movie Shadow stuff and all that comes out in December, I believe. Like, a little before the movie releases. I don't know, you'll see it on screen. You can also sign up for Sega's email newsletter to get a Sonic Jam Classic Sonic skin for free. Me personally, I went with the deluxe version on Steam, which my buddy Zero got for me out of nowhere. Thank you again for that, man, you're the best. But if you're a big fan of the Sonic series, I would go for that version as well. If you're newer to the games and don't really care about all the extras, then the standard version will work just fine. But that should just about get you caught up on everything you need to know going into Sonic X Shadow Generations. Again, be sure if you enjoyed the video to like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified for when the videos and streams of the game drop. And if there's anything I forgot, or if there's anything you guys want to add, make sure to let me know in the comments. I'd love to get some discussion going, because, man, I am just excited for this game. Alright, I'll see y'all then.